I changed shirts, but I just got out of the pool. I'm keeping the camo hat on. I don't care if it leaks through. Actually feels pretty nice. It feels nice and cool. Leroy! Got fever! Goosies. Look, I'm going to try and not yell too much. I've already yelled outside. I don't want to keep waking up the family. But everybody is fired up. We got my little cats over here got cat fever. Mrs. Tobin's got cat fever. We all got cat fever in the Tobin household as your Florida mother bleeping Panthers are going back to the Stanley Cup final. Cats in 6, just like we predicted. And the Panthers today just put the squeeze on New York and took firm control of this game early on. They get themselves a goal in the first period. I mean, showing up to the rink looking like a peaky fucking blinder. Sam Bennett. You want to call him the Lorax, Bennett the Menace, the peaky blinder, whatever it was. Puts the Cats on top right before the first break, and they would really never look back. They felt like they had just demoralized New York from then on there, and it was just clean the entire time. Not a lot of games. What were there in power plays in this game? What were there, 2 apiece in this game? Just a completely clean played game by both of these teams. They both had just 2 penalties in the entire damn game. And Florida was just not going to let New York get to that spot of where they would get an advantage and have some kind of means to get it. They just had that advantage throughout the entire series. And you get into the second period, time's ticking away. I hear Piqué Subban. He's lashing out. He's mad at Breadman. He's mad at everybody on their team because nobody can get anything going. It doesn't really matter, though, does it, dude? You could sit there and you can yell and you can whine and you could be bad at Zabinajad or whoever the hell you want to go out there, Trocheck or Kreider. That team and that New York Rangers team, this is the truth of it. They were held together by one guy. One guy. And I'm going to tell you something. I do not think that Sergei Bobrovsky got enough love in this series, but I got to give my wet hat right here off to Igor Shesterkin because that guy was an absolute terror. The Panthers have faced an absolute gauntlet of goaltending on each of these series with Swayman and Shesterkin, and then you of course have just the big Russian daddy Vasilevsky, who, I get that Tampa team wasn't the Tampa team of old, but there was a mental warfare that went there into that series. And so for the Cats to go into this one, think of this run. You take out the Demons of Tampa, you take out Boston and all the emotion of that series, the fights. They're trying to turn the media against your guys. They're trying to make the Panthers out to seem like they're some kind of dirty team. Some say dirty, some say physical. You put on whatever spin you want to. You had TNT trying to make Sam Bennett out like he was some kind of criminal because Brad Marchand doesn't know where to go, runs right into a fist or skates right into a fist. And then you have this New York Series President's Trophy winner. The curse, I guess, continues. Nobody seems to want that damn thing, but they just had nothing for the Cats. I mean, in all honesty, there really wasn't a time here where you just felt the full throttle pressure that they could bring. Shesterkin was awesome. All these games, especially in the middle of the series, just razor close, kept going to overtime. But it really did feel like the Panthers, once they evened this series up, boom, the light bulb went on. Be like, let's just get a lead. Let's carry this thing home. And you got it. And they did. And you just can't say enough about what this team has turned into and what kind of a franchise this is to see what that building was like jumping tonight. Celebration for my own cup. The old 790 the ticket. Actually, the first thing that I did at 790 the ticket as an intern was cutting Panthers highlights. My the days of David Booth. Actually, I think the second game that I did was the Richard Zednik game where Zednik got the throat slice. And I remember Billy Lindsay and Rusty Bowler just horrified calling that game. Wild, wild night. But to think where this franchise has come from the days of that, where it was just like, does anybody care about this team? Is anybody going to give them the relevance? Is anybody going to go? Should this franchise even be here? And while there was such a great amount of hardcores who stuck through it, to get to the point where they're at now, where you just have the confidence every time they touch the ice that they're the best team. And even with whatever comes out west, whether it be Edmonton, whether it be Dallas, I just think that this Panthers team has this air about them that they are going to find a way to win, even when things aren't great or don't look great. They just feel their coach just has this demeanor about him. And I'm not going to lie. I was like, Paul Maurice, this is who they're bringing in? Really? Most losses ever? No. Completely couldn't be more wrong about a guy. And I love the way that he handles his team. I love his demeanor with, the microphone, but then I also love how he is with his players and how much everybody seems to he seems to capture the essence of this team. Big attitude change with bringing in Kachuk. But I think the thing that you have to be impressed with in this series, dude, I mean, that line with Lundell, Lusserainen, and Tarasenko, welcome to the Terradome. He had been knocking on the door, and Paul was talking about this with Vladimir because he was like, they bring him in. He's not feeling like he's having this greatest series, but he had talked about the influence that he had on Anton Lundell and Etu into this series, and for him to kind of get that breakout, which ends up being the game winner, put the Cats up 2-0. And as soon as they go up 2-0, I felt like that puppy was over. I'm like, Bob's not letting two through. So they get their little their one tack on goal to make you have the squeaky cheeks there at the very end. Breadman gets a goal with I think it was a minute 40 left at the time. They did their two games in a row where they pull a 6-on-5 to get one on there, make it look more respectable for their Rangers fans. But I think the thing that's weird about this team this year is last year was such a heart attack. Everything just really felt like everything was on the brink. The season was on the brink, had to work your way in. You go into the Boston series, you're down 3-1. You're playing crazy overtimes, triple overtimes. Everything just felt like a heart attack. And the odd thing is, all of those riveting series, while this had overtimes in it, I don't know. I just felt like in these overtimes, it just felt, even if it didn't go the Panthers' way in some of these games, and a couple of them, I was like, that's all right. I thought that they were the better team, and it's just that the sport is dumb, and they had the one bit of adversity that they have faced in this playoffs going into Game 4, where they had to even the puppy up and they had to get it, and they did, and it was absolutely huge, and this was a fun series, but ultimately, I've truly felt like they walk out on the ice and they have control over everybody. It's just awesome to see, man. It's awesome to see, and so bask in this, man. I don't think enough we realize how special sometimes these moments are and how fun they are as sports fans. This team is an absolute blast to root for. For the guys who have been here forever, Barkov and Ekblad, to the baby ones they're building like Anton Lundell, who's, whether they call him Baby Barky, to the attitude that they've brought in with Sam Bennett and Matthew Tkachuk, and the experience that they've brought in. All of that has led them to this moment. Bill Zito, cannot say enough about what that dude has built. He has done just absolute yeoman's work to put a great roster together. And, man, I just couldn't say enough about my guy, Bob, man. He goes into this series and everybody is talking about Shesterkin and kissing Shesterkin's ass. And again, I think that guy deserves his flowers. He was certainly awesome. But Sergei gave up 2 goals apiece, gave up 1 goal, 2 goals, 2 goals, 5 goals in an overtime game, 2 goals, shutout. And yeah, he's not getting the quantity of it, but you're not going to act like this guy wasn't here with some big time stops for this franchise. And I just can't be happy for a guy who worked his ass off, took on a big, got this awesome big contract, comes here as a Vezina Trophy winner, has got to go through all the struggles, the embarrassment, the feeling like your coach doesn't support you before you have Paul Maurice here. Young kid might take your job in Spencer Knight. Unknown kids like Alex Lyon and Chris Drieger stepping in for you. And in the end, he gets to be here and he gets to lead the Panthers back-to-back Stanley Cup final runs and goes down as one of the best goaltenders in franchise history. And the ilks of I get it, Luongo, only one with his jersey in the rafters, incredible run before the Vancouver trade and then the comeback, or Beezer and all that. But this journey for him is cool, and for everybody who goes there, they're like, that contract was an albatross. Yeah, okay, fine. But, you're not going to find many guys who could have taken all of the adversity that he had faced, all the doubt that he had faced. This guy is such a hockey samurai. Focus. That's all it is. One shot at a time, one shift at a time, one game at a time. All of that stuff is real. He lives that, dude. He lives that. And I think that any other guy may have crumbled under the pressure of that, but he literally just could take it to the next one and take it to the next one and take it to the next one. I'm so happy for that guy, getting to settle his life down here. He loves it down here in South Florida. Becomes a papa down here. His life completely changes like that too. It's just a class individual all the way, man. You can just see how much his teammates love him. So I'm really happy for Sergey. And this is fucking awesome, dude. The Panthers back fighting for the cup. And I really do feel the confidence this team. I think they're going to get the job done this time. All right. Healthy, strong, confident. It's all happening for the Cats, baby. Man, what a night. Cheers to the Cats. Let's go Panthers. Enjoy this one, South Florida.